Christmas, happy holidays, everybody. We've got a new review for you guys there talking about the upcoming Robert Rodriguez film coming to Netflix, We Can Be Heroes. Hopefully you all have a really great Christmas. This is probably one of my favorite times of the year, but also it's a really great time for streaming content, as a lot of streaming content is out today on Christmas Day. Souls on Disney+, Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max, and Netflix bumped up the release date for We Can Be Heroes, as this is originally going to come out in the beginning of the new year, but I'm so grateful to Netflix actually for supplying me with the screener so I can talk about it with you guys right as it's dropping on Netflix. So this film centers around alien invaders who kidnap Earth's superheroes, so their children must team up and learn how to work together if they want to save their parents and also the world. Another fun little bonus is this film is actually set within the same universe as The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl, a film Robert Rodriguez did 15 years ago. And just saying that out loud, that it was 15 years ago, makes me feel very old. It's kind of hard to critique certain aspects of this film because it's very clearly targeting a certain demographic. I would say it's very clearly targeting the younger generation, the younger audience, because it's very kid-centric. And clearly I am not that target audience anymore, but I still have some pros, some cons, and I'm just going to be trying fair as balanced as I can in that aspect. I can absolutely see a lot of younger kids having so much fun with this film. It's full of energy, it has a lot of colorful visuals, the kids themselves and all their different superheroes and the superpowers that they all have. It's pretty cool. It's a very diverse cast, which is also a thing I really do like when it comes to Robert Rodriguez's films. If you're a fan of Robert Rodriguez's style when it comes to Sharkboy and Lavagirl or some of the later Spy Kid films, it's much more akin to that certain style where it's definitely eye-popping CGI, almost 3D-esque sort of style, but without the 3D aspect. It almost feels like a film that could easily have been a 3D film, but it's on Netflix, so we're not going to get that aspect, sadly. Of course, I love Robert Rodriguez as a filmmaker. I think he's made some really great adult-centric films, and some of his kid films are also very fun as well. His style is very diverse in that sense, because I grew up with the Spy Kid franchise and The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl. I love those first couple Spy Kid films, and even Sharkboy and Lavagirl has some charm to it, even all these years later. But this film especially doesn't feel as fresh, because it almost feels like Robert Rodriguez is rehashing his own ideas, because the basic general idea of this film is the exact same as Spy Kids, except for you replace spies with superheroes. It's the family aspect. Pedro Pascal kind of is a substitute for Antonio Banderas' character. You got the wise veteran grandparent character, and they get kidnapped. I mean, it's for the most part, it's basically just Spy Kids with superheroes, and it was one of those things that really stuck out to me. One of the film's biggest faults, though, is that kid cast, because I think that they shoulder a lot of the responsibility, and I don't think a lot of these actors are very good overall. I mean, to give them the benefit of the doubt, and not very many of them are quite experienced. Their line delivery, their emotion, I think it could have been a lot better. They're not all terrible. I think our actual lead here, Yaya Gosselin, is actually not half bad. But a lot of the side characters, the side superheroes, when they do get their lines of dialogue, it feels very flat and forced and wooden. But to give them the benefit of the doubt, it could have been many other factors as well. Primarily, a lot of the scenes are just the green screen, so they probably don't have too much to play off of. It could have been the direction itself. But they're young kids, so I'm going to give them a pass this time. I honestly really wish we got more of the adult superheroes, the team called the Heroics, because they're led by Pedro Pascal's character, and he's very criminally underutilized, and same with a lot of the other well-known actors they got cast for these big superhero roles, because you have Boyd Holbrook, Kristen Slater, Pedro Pascal. They even brought back Taylor Dooley to reprise the role of Lavagirl. So, I mean, they have some talent in that cast, and for the most part, they're kind of confined to just one room. They get one action scene and that's kind of it. We don't get really any development on them whatsoever, and we also lack that development between them and their kids. Because, not to compare it to Spy Kids again, but in Spy Kids, we spent a lot more time with the actual family even before they were kidnapped. We got to see Junie and Carmen interact more with the family, whereas in this, I mean, there is a much bigger cast of kids this time as opposed to the two in Spy Kids, but for the most part, we get one or two scenes between Pedro Pascal and his daughter in the film, and then the rest of them get no sort of really lines or dialogue with their respective parents until the very end of the film. And I felt like we got a little bit less emotional connection because of that, and I feel like that would have actually probably packed more of an emotional punch in the climax if we had gotten any interaction with any of these superheroes. I also do need to bring this up for fans of Sharkboy and Lavagirl. They're really not in the movie all that much, so some of you may find that disappointing. Sharkboy literally has no lines. If you haven't noticed by now, he's obviously not played by Taylor Lautner. They actually recast the role, and they gave Sharkboy no lines this time. He growls a couple times, but that's kind of it, and it's kind of weird. And Lavagirl, she has a few lines, but it's nothing too significant. She's in an ensemble with the superhero group. And as I said, they're not really interacting too much with their kids until the very end of the film. But I do absolutely love that their kid Guppy is a central part of the film. As far as kids go, other than our lead, I think that she was probably the most fun character just because obviously I have that attachment to Shark Boy and Lavagirl. But yeah, as a whole, I'm not the generation for this. It's definitely more catered towards kids. I think adults aren't going to be as engaged with this film. It is a very paint-by-numbers, predictable kids movie. But I think that kids will have some fun with it and, you know, all the different superheroes and the superpowers that they have. Especially as they fight all of these weird, creative CGI alien creatures. But don't expect too much out of Shark Boy and Lavagirl if you're a fan of them, but also don't expect too much if you're an adult going into this movie expecting Pedro Pascal to be so epic as he was in The Mandalorian, or, you know, Wonder Woman 1984 comes out where he's the main villain in that, so you can have a whole Pedro Pascal weekend if you wanted to. He's been in a lot of stuff lately, he's been really great in a lot of stuff. But as a whole, I think the film is fine. It's a harmless movie. I don't think you're gonna hate it. I don't think you're gonna love it either. It's something kind of you want to just throw on in the background. It's there if you want to catch some fun glimpses every now and then. But there are other things that you could probably watch that are more engaging and more fun on Christmas. As I said, you got plenty of options to choose from on Christmas Day if you want to spend a whole marathon on streaming services. Those are just my thoughts on We Can Be Heroes. It is out now on Netflix if you want to check it out. If you check out the film, I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Make sure you leave a comment. Let me know if you liked it, you disliked it. What did your overall thoughts about it? I'd love to talk about this movie with you guys. Also, what are some of your favorite Robert Rodriguez films? If you want to categorize them into his more adult-themed movies and his kids' movies, you can do that as well. I think more of my favorite movies he's done that is more targeted for kids, of course, is Spy Kids 1, and even Spy Kids 2 I really like still, even to this day. And more of the adult stuff, I would say I really love Desperado, From Dusk Till Dawn. He's got a lot of good stuff. I actually really like Robert Rodriguez as a director. I'd love to know all your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for checking out my reviews. I really do appreciate it. You can always like and subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. But until the next time, I'll see you guys later.